join the call.
Let me turn off my video. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Let's continue. Let's start our session today. Okay.
fine. I will share my screen.
Yeah. Surya, I wanted you to record this. Surya is recording this call. We're good.
So just a quick just information, Surya. Like if you have any doubt at any point of time, like you can ask. Okay. So it's not like you have to wait for till the end. So you can interrupt me and ask anytime. Okay.
Surya, able to hear us?
I think Surya is on mute. Not
Can
sure.
you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you now, Surya. So I was saying like you can ask any question at any time. It's not necessary that you have to wait till the end, like till the end of my uh, session. Okay.
Yeah, Surya, let me introduce you to Piyush first. Piyush is Surya. He's my classmate in engineering,
Oh,
and he moved to Germany first initially for the MS. Later, he moved to US. Now he completed his master's here, and he's currently working with TCS. I mean, he's administrating. He's doing some administration job
okay.
like Linux and Unix servers. Okay, he just wanted to move into the development. Like he was searching for which development will be good. I suggested that middleware is good currently, and MuleSoft is the one which has a which has many opportunities, but it is like short-term projects. All are short-term. It's more than, I mean, I haven't seen a MuleSoft opening for greater than 6 months till
Yes,
now.
yes, because
Okay.
of instability, yeah.
Yeah,
Some
instability and
infrastructure.
everything. Yeah. This is a component where we have a stability and clients are still using it since 10 years, 10 plus years.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I have suggested this to Surya. So this is the background of Surya actually. He has a little bit knowledge on Java and he's more into the administration activities, not into this development, but he's okay. He's good learner and he can learn the things by himself. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No worries.
Coming to Piyush, Surya, Piyush is my colleague in Sony. I mean, in Wipro Technology, we were colleagues over there, and yeah, uh, he started his career in 2012, 2012 or 2013.
12,
Piyush,
2012.
2012. Yeah, he started his career in 2012, and he's like a good. I mean, not only the good developer, like he's a good teacher as well. So I preferred Piyush because of this. One of his best teaching abilities. Okay, I'm not that good teacher or trainer, so okay. Let's continue then. This is
Okay.
just a brief introduction. Okay.
So, so fine. Today's session will start with basic of like what is integration, why we use integration, and like how the integration has evolved, and then like where web methods comes into picture. So that we'll start with the basic first. Okay, we'll share the screen. Let me know once you all are able to see the screen.
Yeah, we are able to see it.
Okay. So will it would be like the session will be kind of more interactive when instead of doing the like kind of just PPT presentation. So like want Kiran and Surya to be involved in this also. Like definitely sure like you must be knowing like what exactly is the integration is. So can any one of you tell?
I mean, it is like integration generally. I'll say what my understanding about integration is. It facilitates the systems communicate each other. First thing. Second thing is like different systems doesn't have the capability of sharing the data which they have. So they generally need a middleware layer. So that is the reason integration has came. I mean, this integration came into existence. That is how the integration came into existence. And third thing is like transaction management or something like for the audit purpose or auditing or something reliable transaction management or everything. Middleware is one of the best approach in the industry. That is what my understanding is about
Okay.
middleware.
So just like to add more to the last point which Kiran said, like why like middleware is preferred like for transaction management because it reduces the dependency of the source and target system. Like still we can do the same thing at a source system, but again we have to ask. Let's say you are a front-end customer and you are sending some data, and due to some issue, like network issue, something lost, then you will not go again and ask customer, okay, send the data again. So you have to be reliable on some middleware or integration layer. Will we have a temporary storage of the data, like for some 5 days or 6 days, and in case some failure happen, you can do the retransaction again. So that kind of loose coupling or interdependency, which brings the integrations. So basically, like how the integration has started, like it started with like a basic of like evaluation of integration started with some basic approaches. Generally, I will give you an example from industry perspective. Like say I have a let's say a company is there which is XYZ company. Okay, so let's say this company as of now is very small. It's some 100 employees only. It's kind of a startup. I think my voice is getting echoed. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, Piyush.
I think my voice is getting echo. I think someone has put on a speaker, right?
Yeah, yeah. 1 second, I'm just
Can you put
holding.
it on just mute? That's it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm putting it on mute.
Yeah.
Sound got reduced now?
Yes, now it is okay.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I'm not able to see anything. So let's think of this scenario. Like this is the company. They have just 5 applications, and it's a very small company. It is having business just within some regional business within some area. So for them, like it's fine to have just point-to-point interaction. Let's say, for example, they are using this. They're using this as let's say front end, which is developed in any Java language or any JSON or PHP or anything. Let's say they are storing some information in Oracle database. So they are maintaining, let's say, two Oracle database and three front end system. One for let's say customer purpose, one for within an organization, and one for just as a backup in case the main API goes down. So what happens here? Like since the organization is very small, we can have direct interaction between these applications. So they will develop an interface connecting, let's say, between E and D, where someone will send some information from front API, and this data will be stored in the Oracle database, let's say D. Same way, like for someone is using A or B as application, same thing can be stored in the C. So initially, this was the approach of integration, like we were directly connecting each and individual application. But what happens, let's say, as the organization grows, like they will start integrating new and new technologies, and the system become more. So and like as the like quantity and the bandwidth grow, they started segregating the system based on the business scenario. Let's say they are doing a business in the Asia region, or let's say they are doing business in Europe region. So they will start separating the system based on the region wise. Okay, this server will be maintaining, or this and so database will be maintaining in this Asia region, and so database will be maintaining the Europe region kind of thing. So what happened then? It comes the picture of the middleware. The reason why it like when the middleware comes into picture, I will tell you the difference. Like what happens. Let's say this is the in the earlier scenario. Let's say this XYZ company has incorporated some new technologies or new, let's say, new tools. For example, let's say they have hired AWS. Let's say they have incorporated SAP. Now they want again all these three applications to connect with AWS and connect with SAP. So what they are going to do, they have one approach, like they have to individually build interfaces, which is connecting this front end to AWS, again for A to AWS, and again for B to AWS, and again for the same SAP, they're going to do the same thing. So as you see, as the number of applications are growing, the number of interfaces are growing, because it's just a point to point interfaces. The reason is like growing it is fine, but we have to maintain it. That is the problem. Now to maintain it, we need a resource, we need a bandwidth, and we need a 24 by 7 support. So they come up with a different approach. Okay, again, like one more thing I want to forget. Like let's say in future they are going to decommission this application, and they are going to migrate this data to some new application. So what they have to do, whatever the applications which were earlier connecting to the C, again they have to repoint it to the new application. So it's a complete kind of new work for each and every application. So there are two scenarios. Like once they are going up scaling, they are going to build as number of interface for each and every application. And if they are migrating or decommissioning certain interfaces or certain applications, again they are going to do the same thing. So it will be a very tedious and cumbersome task to do all this maintaining activity. So what they have come up with a different architecture, which is we call as a bus architecture. Generally, this idea was taken from how we use the networking. Like in networking, generally, if you see, if you are working in a corporate, you will see have a one single LAN wire, and each desktop is connected, and one point will be given, and where which we can plug each and every desktop to get the network. So if one of the network is not working, it is not going to disturb other networks. The same kind of approaches was used to integrate all those applications. So we come into the picture like this called middleware. So till now, like Surya or Kiran, you have any query?
I'm good, Piyush.
Okay,
Surya, what about you?
I'm good, Kiran. Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, fine. So before that, I will say okay. So what generally happens in bus architecture? It's a purely a networking concept. We have one central LAN cable, okay, and then we'll have plug-in points like socket kind of thing. And whatever the systems, let's say I have a desktop, I want to connect to this LAN, I can just put my LAN cable here. The same kind of concept was used to integrate the application when the system, like when the company grows or when they are acquiring large number of systems. So this is basically called as a bus structure. Okay, now since this bus architecture we are implementing in an organization which we generally call as enterprise, we call it a term here as ESB, enterprise service bus, because this we are going to implement this architecture in a big enterprise company. Now what are the advantage of using this architecture is now you don't have to directly connect. For let's say in the same scenario we have A, E and B, we're connecting to C and D. Now A, E and B are not directly connecting to C and D. The advantage is let's say if I am going to add some new system in future, I don't have to, and let's say I want to uh, push data from application A, E and B to some new application F. I don't have to build separate application. I have to just build one application, and whatever the existing application which is connecting with middleware, I can get the data from there and push it to the application F based on their how they want the data, based on the transformation. Again, in let's say if we are going to decommission an application, let's say C, we can do it in a phase wise. We can hold the data at the middleware level instead of disturbing the front end application, and later we can push the data here. So these all are the advantages of using a middleware. So adding more to these things, like what are the advantages? Like we have a loosely coupled, as I said, the dependency between the system will be reduced. Now we have a message oriented. Okay, I will explain this exactly what exactly message oriented it is. Let's say a scenario where we have one application, we have second application, and we have third application. Okay, this application is creating a file f1. Okay, and it has to send this file to this application. What we have to do, we have to just add some 10 attributes here. Whatever, let's say this file has a 20 attributes. So what it has to deliver, it has to add 10 more attributes and deliver it to the file system f2. Now second, same file, we have to add just 5 attribute and deliver it to this application. Let's say I'm giving the name as application A. B and C. So here my word application is same as the system. Okay. Now in these two delivery of files, these five attributes are common. Like whatever the five attributes are I'm adding here, I'm adding here also. Here we are just adding five more new attributes. Now there are two ways to do it. Either we create one application here, or let's say middleware only. I get a file, okay, I do the transformation and then I create one more file with all the 10 new attributes and I push it here. Second is I get the same file again here, I add the 5 new attributes, I create a new file and push the file here. File based, like whatever we are doing in our operation is a kind of file based. Now same thing you see if we are going to do with a message based. Here again we'll have a middleware which is getting the same file. So what will happen, let's say we are receiving a 20 attributes here, okay, which is, let's say this is a client which is subscribing to the data. So this broker is or basically a part of complete web methods product suite or the middleware, and this again this broker is getting subscribed to the data. Now what we are doing here in the code level, we are adding the attributes. So we are creating two data, or let's say two set of data, one having attributes total of 30 and one having attributes 25, and we are simply publishing it to the broker, and from broker they are getting the details. So here we are reducing the step of creating a file, getting the reading the file, again creating a file and sending it. Same process we are reducing it here, like getting the file, reading the file, again creating a file and sending it back. So this kind of process is called as message oriented. So hope you got like
Surya, did you understand what it is? Some message-oriented architecture. This is called as. I mean, in order to now we'll use too much of resources to create a file. We'll need to utilize the space. We'll need to reuse the services. I mean, we have to reuse the services multiple ways. So that and all are not required here in the message-oriented architecture. Okay.
Sorry.
This you
Just what I understood is, for example, if A and B are persons, and if there is a middleware, if you want to transfer the file from A to B, so it goes through middleware, and this middleware read the file and copy it and send it to the person B. Is that right?
yes,
similarly, but don't consider a person. Consider it as a machine. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, at least a computer. So that will be easy. Okay. So each and every person will be subscribing to the middle layer. Okay. So it is not required for A to create a logic to send a file to B, and B to create a logic to send a file to C to create a logic to send a file to both A and B, or something like that. It is like completely mess, right? So when there is a middleware architecture, each and everybody subscribe to the middleware layer, so they can get the same data. Okay. That is what Pish is trying to explain.
yeah, agree. Now the third thing is like,
Let's proceed. Yeah.
yeah, so the third thing is like business logic layer. Like we have intelligence routing transformation and like as Kiran said in the starting, like transaction management. Now let's say like how these things are work. For example, let's say same scenario, let's say I have a application A. Okay, I have to send the data to application B and application C. So I'm just talking about the intelligent routing. Like let's say this is an application A which is having an employee details. So they have employee like employee ID name, and the employee belongs to which retail group. Let's say they belongs to the finance team or HR team. So for finance team, they have to send the data to this application B, and for HR related, or let's say employee who are working in HR part, they have to send the data to application C. Now there are two ways to do it. What application A can do, once they pull out all the reports, they have to segregate the employee based on who is working in finance and who is working in HR, and then they have to push the file. Other way to do it, like they completely rely on middleware. They push everything to the middleware. In middleware, will decide the logic. Okay, if I am getting employee, let's say employee department as a finance, I will send the data to this part, and if I am getting employee details as an HR, I will get the I will send the data to HR part. So this kind of intelligent routing kind of thing we can implement in middleware also. Now the advantage, let's say in future they have created some new department and they want to send the data to the same department. So in earlier scenario, what we had to do, wherever we are using application A to segregate the files based on the employee group, they don't have to do it. This whatever they are sending, it will remain the same. We have to just apply one more routing criteria to filter the employee list and send based on their department to this part. So that is, like as I said, like decoupling and loosely coupling and interdependency will be reduced, and how the intelligent routing can be used here. Now coming to the third part, like the transformation and transaction. So transformation means, let's say same, for example employee, I am receiving employee as employee ID, whatever the employee ID I am details receiving. Okay, then I'm receiving the first name, then I'm receiving last name. Okay, now this finance team requires this first name last name to be in one single field called full name. So they want the data to be in the format of employee ID and full name. Now this HR team, they want designation, salutation also, like something Mr. Mrs. something. So they want everything like full name. They want like salutation plus first name plus last name. Now if we are using a middleware approach, what we have to do, whatever the existing routing or intelligent routing will remain the same. Before sending the data at the integration layer, we'll write a logic. If we are getting the details, if we are sending this to the finance team, we'll have to concat first name last name and then route it. Similarly for HR team, if we have to concat first name last name and salutation and then route it to the HR team. So this is called from application A. If we are doing any other operation, like the way the end system doesn't want, or they want the data in a different format also. For example, let's say we are receiving in a file format, which is, let's say, .csv file, and we have to send it into an XML format. That also we can do. So here we call it the transformation of the structure of the data. So the earlier what we have told, it is called as transformation of the data. So all these kind of transformation we can implement in a middleware.
Hi, a small question.
Yeah, tell me.
In this transformation, so can we have the transformation with a different data on different groups? Like for example, if you said, like, the employee ID and the name has to be in this particular sequence
Yeah.
uh, to the financial department. Can we also send it in a different format to different departments?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, that can
Yeah.
be done. That is the main reason. I mean, see, the employee details are like crucial for an organization, right? That is required by in each and every organization. Okay. In that case, Not even the finance team, even the HR teams looks about the employee details. Even the finance department looks about the employee details, and even the other organizations like library department, sports department, other things, right? So each and every system requires the same details, but in a different formats. Okay, so there is a middleware layer where it sits between the in between the systems and transforms the data and transfers to the required organizations in the required formats.
Thank you.
Okay. Now the third thing is like transactions. Transaction basically means like whether we are making sure whether the delivery has been done or not. For example, if an application or system A is sending some information to system B and it is going through the middleware, like at the middleware we have to apply something or we have to make something monitoring so that we can make sure that the transaction has been completed. So based on the kind of applications we are integrating with, they have their own kind of transaction management. Let's say for example, if you are using an Oracle database, then they have their own kind of transaction management. If you are using SAP, or if you are using any broker like RabbitMQ or Apache Tomcat, any kind of, so they have their own kind of transaction management. So basically what transaction means, like how we are making sure like the end to end is successful or not. Now you see, the further evaluation happened is like I'll start with the same picture. You're able to see the pic, right? Like it is not too small, right?
Yeah, able to see it, able to understand it.
Okay, sorry. So now, like as I told you, like ESB is the enterprise service bus layer. Now what happened? We have a different application. Let's say this is an Oracle application. Okay. Let's say this is a SAP application. This, let's say we are connecting with mainframe. Okay, and we are getting the data from, let's say one is front end, like they are using any API tool, and let's say second we are getting the data from, let's say, some third party through a web service call. So we have exposed a service or any REST service. So what happens, like these ESB cannot directly interact with all these applications. What they have done, based on the applications they are interacting with, they have created an adapter. So adapter is basically like, you can think of as a set of functionality which has been provided along with any enterprise service tool or web method. Let's say for example, here we are using a web method. So when webmother product suite, they are building lots of adapters to interact with the ESB layer and the end application. The reason is, let's say this Oracle application is understanding everything in table format. They have a table data in the table format. SAP application understand in IDOC format, the data format. Now again, the way of interacting to the Oracle system is through any SQL query. Like you have to use as insert, update, or delete, whatever the operation you want to perform, any DDL or DML language which you want to do on Oracle. Now for the SAP, they have defined the RFC call or BAPI call. So don't go further like what is RFC BAPI call, we'll tell you later. But think of it as like we can interact with SAP through this kind of this way, like this is a channel has been provided. Same like for mainframe, we can have only file operation, which let's say we can write any script like XCOM script or any kind of SSH script to send the file or calling the mainframe jobs. Now again for web services, like we have to expose, let's say some application is calling our services, so we have to expose our services to them. So This ESB layer cannot do it directly. They need something to tackle with all different type of applications. So what they have come with an approach which we generally call as adapters. So these all are called as adapters. The, so for example, for Oracle, we have in web methods WMJDBC adapter. So this adapter is provided by your software regime only along with the product. So but you have to purchase the license like based on what kind of adapters you are going to use in your tool, like they will charge, and along with that they have provided WMART package. So through this adapter they have lots of inbuilt services like how you are going to insert a data to database, how you are going to call a stored procedure, and how you are going to directly call function in database. So all these things are provided through this adapter. So basically this adapter, what it is set of jar files, like for example, let's say you have Surya, like you have worked in Java, right? If from the Java application we are directly connecting to Oracle, we write how we initiate a connection, pass the um, server details, like and which server, which port, and which table you want to connect, and then you get the table details like that. The same way all these things are done by these adapters, so we don't have to worry much about writing a program how we are going to connect it. We have to just use all these adapters. The same way, like for SAP, they have provided WM SAP adapters. So wherever you will see the name, you see the naming convention. It's like they have used WM for web methods and SAP. So whichever the adapters they have provided for that particular application. So that is the further evaluation of like evolve of the how this integration layer works. So any question till now, like Surya or Kiran, anything?
Uh,
I'm good.
Basically, in order to set up an integration to where we have to use a adapter, the kind of
Surya, for now you remember like adapter is nothing but a connection just for today. Today, not for today, just for next one a couple of weeks. You remember that adapter is nothing but a connection. Okay.
Yeah. And you will get to know like what exactly the adapter is. But you think of it just like let's say if you are in home and you have been given a socket, that's it. You plug in and you run laptop or charges mobile. That's it. But at the back end, how the wiring has been done, you are not worried about it, right? The same way it's kind of thing like they have been provided a socket. You just plug in from the USB and you will start interacting with any third kind of application. So we'll go details into like how we are going to use all those adapters, but in general this is what adapter is. So hope you like I'm clear like what exactly it is.
yes.
Okay, fine. So we'll
Uh,
go. Yeah, you were telling something, Kiran.
no. I'm about to say that I'm good.
Okay, fine. Now like we'll go with the same details. Now this ESB layer, like it can be implemented. Like we have lots of technologies in the market, like web methods. We have Tibco, we have IBM WebSphere MQ, we have Pega. So and Mule software, like currently it is booming. Like, but it all depends like how what is the requirement of the client. Based on that, they will judge like which middleware tool to be used. So for our approach, like we'll focus on the web methods particularly. Okay, so now you see like here like the same enterprise service bus. Now we have implemented web methods tool as a web methods tool as architecture of the enterprise service bus, and then we have adapters connecting with different applications. and then we have a trading networks and EDI to interact with any third party. So before, like after that, like this is the basic architecture, like how exactly it works, like the enterprise service bus, and we have lots of details. Will not go as of now. Okay, so we have already discussed. Okay, now we'll discuss like the most important thing, like what is EAI and what is B2B. Let's think this same XYG or organization, like okay, so you see here, like I'm just dividing a line here. It's line visible, right? Or we can put it in a separate thing such as table color.
No, no, that is visible.
Okay, let's say a scenario, same company XYZ, okay, which is now a big enterprise company. They have different units. Let's say they have HR units, they have a finance unit, so, and let's say they have IT operation, and they have BPO. Okay, now they are using webmethods tool to integrate all these individual um, subunits. So let's say they have used one webmethod server here, one webmethod server here, webmethod server, one webmethod server here, one webmethod, and they all are integrating using a broker, like they are communicating or routing a message through a broker. And in the backend, like they say, they are using, as of now, let's say everyone is using Oracle database. So at the backend, they are storing the information in the Oracle database. Okay, now let's say this company is preparing a product, let's say mobile. So it's a hardware company. It's preparing all the mobile hardwares like antenna, chip, and mobile cases and everything. And for the software part, like let's say they are like they are using, let's say Android. So for the software part, they are contracting Google to provide the software. So let's say this is a Google as a one single entity. So what they have done, let's say they have planning to create 1,000 sets of mobile in their warehouse, and they have ordered the Google. I want, like I'm preparing that 1,000 sets of mobile, and I want the Android software for the 1,000 sets of mobile. Now there will be one channel here through which they will interact with the external party. So for from XYZ perspective, everything which is coming within it, it is internal to the XYZ company, and whatever it is going out, if we are company with it is, if they are interacting with any other company, it is external communication. External, this is internal. Now in the internal, they have implemented web methods and broker. These all are web methods, let's say, and broker. So this whole implementation, it is called as EAI, Enterprise Application Integration. So within an enterprise, if we are going to integrate whatever the applications or systems you have, we call it as Enterprise Application Integration. It is basically your architecture. It is not related to any technology. Now the way how we are going to integrate it is completely different. But whatever we are integrating within an organization, it is called as enterprise application integration. The same way, like if Google had, let's say, different subunit, so from Google perspective, whatever which were inside the Google, they call it as EAI. Now they are doing business with Google, or let's say they have one more third party from which they are doing some business. So these type of interaction, it is called as B2B. It is called as business to business. Like whenever from an enterprise, if they are going to interact with some other third party or some other enterprise, so from that perspective, that type of operation is called as business to business. Now, generally what happens, how the architecture will be like in a normal scenario in web methods, we will have a kind of firewall here. It's the main firewall. Then we'll have a kind of generally we call it as a this is the firewall. Think of it as a firewall now. We will not go details, otherwise it will be confusing for lots. We'll go to the DMZ and other things after this page. So this is a firewall. What will happen if any communication is happening from XYZ one company or one enterprise to some other enterprise, it will route through firewall, so that this company will not have access to whatever it is going inside this company. So generally what happens when we implement the architecture, we'll have all these things like within an application or within an enterprise, whatever the applications they are integrated in will not have any firewall policy. It will be open to everyone. We can directly connect. But whatever we are interacting with the other systems or third party outside of organization, will pay due diligence to make it very protected, like so that someone should not get information what is present or what is going on inside a company. So we'll implement the firewall, we'll implement all demilitarized zone layer. So from now, like this what we call it as EAI, and this what we call it as a B2B. I hope like the concept is clear, Surya.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
But there is one more thing.
Yeah, tell me.
I want to know what is this broker?
Sorry.
Uh, the one with the broker in the EAI.
Okay, okay. That I will explain you like how exactly the things happen. Like I will give you the same scenario where we implement broker, where we'll implement demilitarized zone. Normally, how it happens. So we'll discuss just now.
And why do we have multiple method servers?
Okay, fine. I will explain it to you. Let's say of the same XYZ company. Okay, and they have same subdomain. I'm just talking about now EAI part. Let's say they have a HR, they have finance team, and they have IT operation, or let's say BPO, and IT. Okay, now let's think of a scenario where we have just used one server. Okay, all the transaction management and everything of each subunit is going through one server. Okay, what happens if the server goes down, let's say for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or let's say like some issue happened with the server, and the IT team is doing working on it. Let's say they told okay it will take some half an hour to boot the server. So what will happen in that scenario? All these sub units will be impacted at a time, because they are interacting with one single server. Okay, now think of a second scenario where we have same systems, but each app, each system has been given their individual servers, and we have put a broker here. We'll explain you what exactly the role of broker. Okay, now what they are doing, they are, I'm just giving example, it can be broker, it can be anything, but they are interacting with broker to send or deliver the message. So what happens, let's say if this system goes down, it is not going to impact this system or this system. So way we are increasing the number of servers, we are reducing the dependency. Second thing, we are making it more secure or reliable messaging kind of thing. If one system goes down in future, or let's say if mm, the system itself goes down or something happened, then in that case it is not going to impact the business of the other applications, so that the whole enterprise will not be stopped. So that's why we use multiple integration servers. Now again, like in production, in each application we have more than one integration server. We generally we call it as a clustering. So now why we use it? Because it's a production. What if one goes down? Then we can use second server as a backup to again do the transaction or any operation. So in a normal real-time scenario, what will happen? We'll have a multiple server spanning across different application, and one application we have multiple layer of servers which we called it as a cluster. So hope you got the answer, like why we use multiple servers.
You're clear, Surya?
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll explain where we use what components. Okay, like we have generally in web methods we have integration server, we have web methods broker, then for monitoring we use is admin page, mws, lots of things are there. We have a trading network and all those things. So we'll explain like how what component we use from architecture perspective. Let's see if I have a diagram or not. Yeah, fine, it is there. Is this diagram is clear? I don't think it's hazy, right?
Can you drag that picture to the full screen view? You are in a full screen view, right? Can you drag it down? Okay, okay. I'm able to understand because I know the what are the wordings are there, but I'm not sure about Surya.
Fine, I will draw it like
No, no, no problem. Let's reduce the size so that he can read the what exactly it is there.
okay, fine.
Okay, to at least to 50%. Yeah, that's good.
Now it is fine, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Now, as I said, like as I explained, like the EAI part and the B2B part. So, okay, we'll draw the diagram simultaneously. Like as I say, like we have an it's the same organization XYZ. We have this is as EAI part, and this is B2B. Now, here we have this firewall zone. What we implement here, we'll call it as one more layer of safety, which we called it as DMZ layer, which we call it as a demilitarized zone. Okay, just 1 minute, let me, I think I have one more diagram. Just I will quick check them, maybe it is really more clear. 1 minute. You're able to see it, right? Hello?
Yes, Piyush, able to see it.
Yeah. So this is I am just giving a live example of one of the project, like how they have implemented middleware. It will be more clear instead of creating a diagram. It is visible, right? Clearly.
Can you make it to 100% and see how it goes, how it appears? Yeah, now this is clear.
Okay, fine.
But it is not fitting into the screen maybe, but
Yes, yes.
that's okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. So here what they have done, they are using webMethods 9.5. You can see this is called as a firewall zone. Okay. Whatever which is external to this, let's see if I can copy it. So with fine, we'll go with this one. So this is completely external world, and whatever which is coming from here, it's a part of one enterprise. Okay. So they have implemented a firewall here. So
Yeah.
whatever this within an organization they are interacting, it is routing through a firewall, or whatever a external party is going to interact with within an organization, it is coming through a firewall, just to make sure like they are authorized to do the operation. Like let's say we have exposed our service and they are getting some data from our services, so we are making sure that the party to which we have authorized are only getting the information through the firewall routing, through port opening, and through proxies and all those things. Now the second layer comes, which we call as DMG layer, which we generally call as demilitarized zone. So what happens, like if any external party is trying to interact with in an enterprise, they are not directly allowed to interact with any internal applications. For example, let's say in this picture we have so many applications are there. For example, Oracle. They there can be a scenario where we can directly allow this external party to interact with Oracle, but it is generally not allowed as a part of security. What we generally do, we'll create one server here, which we call as a DMG server. So they will send a request to within an organization DMG server, so that we can monitor what exactly is the request they are sending, what are the data they are sending, and then from within an organization, from DMG, we'll route the information further down the line in an enterprise. So that's why we use DMG. So till now, like Surya, you have any confusion till external what?
I'm good.
Fine. Now again here, like in DMG, like it can have any server. We can use any Apache Tomcat server. So from web methods, we have used web method server. It's basically an integration server. We use it as a DMG server. So what we will do generally, we'll provide a port. Let's say for example, to let's say this is an external party. This is DMG layer. Here we are, and then we have to pass the information to the final Oracle. Let's say this is the Oracle. Okay, we have set up a DMG server here. We have one internal server. So what generally we'll do at DMZ layer, we'll give some port information and IP address. Let's say we have given port as 12 and IP address, let's say 1.1.1.1. Now for this party, they will think, okay, I'm interacting with this port to get some information from Oracle. But what is happening? This DMG layer, what it will do, any party which is hitting port 12, they will delegate the port or delegate the request to some other port, to some other IP address 1.2.3, and then they will route this information further. This is basically done for security purpose, so that anyone should not know what we are using our internal IP address or internal port, because it's if someone can break the firewall, they can easily enter our internal system and can directly gather the information. For example, let's say if you are in a finance team and you are doing audit of a company, you have prepared the quarter 3 like future result, company is going for so and so profit or loss. If someone has entered and break the information and release it into market, it will impact your share. most important thing. And people will lost faith, like they will start switching because company is going down or something like that. So to protect all this, what happens, like for external party, we don't provide whatever the internal IP addresses. So the basic rule of DMZ is it will do the routing of IP and port, what we can delegating. So whatever the request we are getting on one port, we are delegating to other ports so that further internal system can take care of it. So that is the role of a DMG layer. Now you see in this diagram, within an once we cross the DMZ layer, there is no firewall implemented here. We have Oracle, we have Oracle server, we have LDAP server, and we have multiple web method servers. So all these are completely open. Now you will coming down to the within an organization, like within EI part. As you see here, we have multiple servers, and they all are interacting with one single broker. Now, sorry, just a minute, I will drink. Yeah. So, as I already said, why we use these many servers? It's like you want to do the reliable messaging, you want to decrease the load. Let's say if you are doing everything on one single server, you are going to increase the load on one single server, and as the load increases, the memory consumption and JVM utilization increases, the process will be slow. So what some business unit, what they will do, or some enterprise, what they will do, they will segregate their application based on their priority. They will say, okay, I will make one server as a top priority application. So for example, let's say if you're using a banking application, you want the transaction to be completed in 3 seconds or 4 seconds. If it is taking more than, it will do timeout. So they will say, okay, I'm doing a dedicated server for that part. So that way they segregated, they will segregate the servers based on their business functionality or event. Some type of enterprise, what they will do, they will segregate the server just because of the load balancing. For example, let's say they are doing a kind of customer forecasting, or they want to know, okay, how many people are using their product in so and so reason. Just for load balancing, they will implement multiple servers so that request will be routed, so that each server will perform well and the process will be very fast. Now this how the request will be routed across multiple server. We use one more server which we call as a load balancing server. Again, like as I said in the beginning, that intelligent routing, the most important intelligent routing is done here. Like what it does, it checks the load of how much memory utilization of each individual server, and it routes the request to the server which is less memory utilized, or it is more available in the sense more free to be process the data. So they have some internal logic to decide. So if someone is doing some transaction, it will go through the load balancing, and it will check which server can handle that request, and it will delegate the request to that particular server, and that particular server will process the request and then either save the data in database or whatever it wants to do. So there is one concept of load balancing. Second use of load balancing is, let's say if we are using multiple servers, if one of the server is down, then load balancer will automatically get notified. Okay, one of my server is down, so I don't have to send the data to this server. So whatever the request is coming, it will be routed to some other server. So from an external perspective, we are not bothered that our process is halted, our system is not working. So we can have a mechanism to alert, like server is down, someone will manually reboot it. So all those kind of failover mechanism is implemented if we have multiple servers. So till now, any query?
No, 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 I'm good. Looks like Surya will have to answer this question. Surya, you're good? Or getting confused?
No, 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 I'm good.
Fine, right? Now coming to the part like where we use what components. Think it again as an internal, which is basically an EAI, and this is an external, which is basically a B2B. Now after the firewall we have a, let's say you have a firewall, then we have a, let's say, DMZ layer. So sometimes what some company will do, they will put one server here also, which kind of we can say the component of web methods, which we use to interact with all the B2B organization, B2B kind of, especially for EDI part. But it is not necessary, like some people have confusion, like we can use only TN for B2B interaction. It's not like that. We are using a TN because it's using an EDI part for external, and it has lots of facility. We can even have a file transfer, normal SFTP or SSH file transfer over. That is also can be done. But let's say if we are using a trading, like if we are going to use trading network where it resides in an architecture, so it resides here, like and it is basically a pure integration server. And how basically we know that our integration server is capable of doing trading network process or not? So if in an integration server we have this package WMTN, this is again a, you can say, an adapter or a package which has been provided by software AG. If you are going to install this package in your integration server or this adapter in your integration server, your server is capable of doing the trading network process. Now within an application we can have a integration server or a layer of integration servers spanning across different subunits. And all these integration server will be connected through a message broker. This we call as a message broker. Okay, now this integration server is connected, it connects to a web method message broker. Like it's the process, like we'll tell you later, like how we connect and all those things. But generally what happens, it connects to a message broker, it will deliver the message, and it is picked up by some other integration server. Let's say this is an IES. So these all are again web methods server. Now in message broker, like for from web methods perspective, there are two kind of brokers. Like earlier it used to be a native broker, and recently they have introduced UM. So they have UM and native broker, which we generally call as broker. So again, these are two separate components. Like these are completely two different components. We can use either UM server or broker, or we can use a combination of both. It's purely depend on the kind of requirement and business process, and where we use UM or broker, it's again a discussion like we'll discuss later. So again depends on the quantity, bandwidth and quantity of message transaction and all those things. Each has their own advantage and disadvantage. So this is again a component. Like now we have IS component, which is web methods integration server. We have broker, which is like universal messaging and native broker. Now we have a trading network, and along with that we'll have adapters to interact with end system. Let's say we have Oracle, so it use adapters to interact with applications. So basically these all adapters are not a separate thing, they all comes as a part of web methods integration server packages. Now the third, recently they have introduced the concept which is called as MFT. They have developed a new tool. So it is basically like GUI based, where we can do the configuration to transfer the file. To transfer the file in the sense, the I will give you the first background of why MFT comes into picture. The limitation of file transaction between IS, broker, and other IS is like if the file size is more than 500 MB or 600 MB, the process will be very slow if we are just using the to transfer the file. So they come up with an idea, okay, we'll do the file transfer over an Unix box, operating system level. So they have developed a new component where we can transfer the file of 2 GB or 3 GB within a second. So again, like this MFT is a separate component. It can reside within an EAI, or it can reside in the DMG layer also to send the file to the external system. But it will be pure delivery of the file at a Unix level, just like how we do the SFTP or SSH command.
Piyush, one question here.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
MFT is the secondary component which we'll need to buy a license, right? It is
Yes.
not included in the.
No, it is not included. You have to buy a license. So
Okay.
wherever this, whenever you buy a license, it will comes with a package WMFT,
Okay. Okay.
and you will have MWS to do the configuration.
Yeah.
It's
Got
same,
it.
it's same thing kind of jobbing. Like you will have a control M, right? So do a job and
Yeah.
monitor
Yeah. Got it. Got
same
it.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Now these servers are running. Now we have to monitor whether these servers are running fine or not, how many threads are occupied, and what is the memory utilization. For that they have provided a API or front end page, which we call as integration server admin page, or we in short we call as IS admin page. So each server will have their own pages to monitor that particular server. For example, here we have three servers. We have three different web pages which we can open it from the browser, and we can monitor each server individually. Now, again, we need something to monitor universal messaging or broker. So if we have implemented a native broker, we are having MWS for current version. It is basically an administration and monitoring tool. Basically, it is called as my web method server. So here we configure the configurations related to broker and monitor it, like what is the broker utilization. And for they have separate page which we call as enterprise manager. So in essence, like they have provided a separate web page to monitor each and every component. Again, they can be merged to one single command central kind of thing, but they will not go that much far. Now again, for the TN part, TN, as I said, is basically a server. So to monitor the server, we again have IS admin page. But to configure the setup related to TN and to monitor the transactions, it is all done in MWS in the latest version. Like we are using 8.2 or earlier version, it used to be a separate, we call it the TN console. So these are the like the most 80% of the component which will be used in will be used across all over the world. Like some people will be using BPM, BAM, or lots of things. So it all again is like individual. You have to buy the license, and it's basically in the backend is the integration server. So any query till now, like where we use broker, where we use IS, where we use TN.
Yeah. I'm good, Piyush.
Okay. What about you, Surya? It's like I will share the PPT. You can have you read it, and you can come back tomorrow also with if you have any question in understanding.
Suya, you're speaking on mute, maybe?
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm able to hear you.
So I was asking like you have any query or concern till now?
I have a little bit problem to remember. I understand what.
Surya, you can do one thing, Surya. Go read the PPT once again.
Yeah.
Okay. let me know whatever you have the doubts. If I'm not able to clarify your doubts for today, we can you can next day when the class starts, right? Tomorrow you can reach out to Piyush as well.
Yes,
Okay.
and you can go this video recorded video session. So yeah,
For
okay.
example,
It's not necessary that if you want, we can have 1 day break, like to just to because initially we'll take it as slow if you want, like to because this architecture concept is very important to understand what component we use where. That is a very important thing.
okay.
Fine
So
then. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so I need to understand the names, like instead of remembering as a monitoring tool, I need to understand what kind
Yes,
of.
yes. Basically, what happens like in project, they will say, okay, do something in MWS, but you should know why. What are the things included in MWS? What are the things included in IS? So you should be aware of it. That's why the architecture is very important.
Once you install the server, right, you will come to one. You will come to know what I mean. Where is what is where it is configured.
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
Fine.
webMethods is like a, I mean, it's not a small single tool.
Yes,
So
yes,
initially, when webMethods started, it was like one. I mean, it's hardly like 1 GB of file. We get it, we install it and run everything. But now it's like almost 10 GB, right? I believe, Piyush,
yes, yes,
more or less, almost equal to 10 GB. So multiple components are integrated into the ESB. I mean, into webMethods, and it is coming out as a single product.
yes. And day by day, they are integrating more things like IoT and all those things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. So I mean, not even mine, and everybody is like basic building blocks of web methods is integration server, and you'll need to understand how the coding is happening in web methods, like what are the flow steps. I mean, the flow elements are there in the web methods, so that are crucial as of now. But architecture is one which is like a heart. I mean, heart of web methods. You need to understand more on architecture, but looking at this picture now, it will give you a lot of confusion for sure. But when you go day by day, right,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
keep on repeating this, seeing this diagram, you'll understand more. Yeah, am I correct, Piyush?
Yes, yes,
I got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like within a single day you will be able to understand everything what is there currently Piyush is showing.
yes,
I mean, it is highly impossible for I mean, new learner to understand everything whatever it is showed here,
yes,
even if it is lectured for almost 2 to 3 hours. Okay.
yes, yes. That's why, like, once we'll go, like, we'll go where how what we use indications. So I will show you in the same diagram. Like, I will correlate you, like, okay, this how where we have pointed IS and what are the things present in the IS. If it is IS admin page, how we'll open it, what are the things we monitor about the service. So if you are not understanding all this architecture, at least 70, 50, 60%, that is also fine. Don't worry much. Like, as you will go down the line, like, you will understand details.
Currently, I understood the architecture, but I need to understand uh, the MWS and all the other stuff like
Yeah, that will be it will take.
That is a different case, Surya. MWS is nothing but another integration server we have on web page. Like that, we have another thing for monitoring all the activities for web methods. That is called my web method server. That is different concept once again, where Piyush will take care of it. Okay. The first day itself, it is not required for you to understand what exactly the MWS does, because until and unless you open the MWS page, you will not understand what are configured in MWS, what to monitor, and what are the things that are already there. I mean, we cannot understand until unless you open a MWS page and see it. Okay.
You just think of it as like you're opening a Flipkart page and you're ordering something. That's kind of same thing, and you're monitoring your orders like that. So as soon as we'll go deep into it, we'll understand what exactly it monitors, how what are the things we configure and everything.
okay.
Okay. Fine, then in that case, I will share the PPT. Can you ping me your email ID, or if Kiran can, should I share to
I
Kiran?
think, yeah, you can share it with me. I'll share it with Surya.
Okay, okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Then in that case, we'll resume tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We had a nice class today.
Yeah. Thank you,
Nice
man.
demo. Okay. Thanks, Piyush.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, bye. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey Surya, thanks man. Bye bye. Why are you laughing, man? Oh, you shared your mail ID. Okay, let me share mine as well. I'll have to change my mail ID, man. My mail ID is this mail ID is configured at multiple organizations.
I know.
So yeah, okay then. Okay,
What?
Surya, I'll call you back. I'll call you back. Okay. Where is your cat, man?
ఇదే ఉంది పడుకుంది.
Where it is?
ఇదే ఉంది.
Oh, you don't have video. Surya, I'll call you back. Oh, ఉందా? Okay, okay. సరే అయితే. Yeah, yeah. Voice